Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dan Anderson, wishing you a very, very welcome to this week's webinar that it's called the Global Associate Meeting, because this is ultimately for leaders in our business and people who have a keen interest to find out what's going on and to be updated and to stay in touch with the company, and we want to stay in touch with you. Now, we've been running this webinar for just shy of 7 years now, and we've missed it once or twice over those years because of some public holiday or other. But we're very pleased with this sort of regular pulse beat of Leo because when I started the company, I wanted this to be a transparent company and an honest company and a company that communicates with people. And as the CEO, this is one of my most important tasks to do this webinar every Monday, just to make sure that you guys are in touch with us. Now, I noticed that we have a fantastic attendance here today, and again, I noticed from the names, I get no other notification on this platform, but from the names, we have people from all over the world, and it's just fantastic to see, because my aspiration was always to build a multicultural global business, and this is what is now coming through for us. To that end, we are celebrating today what our Chinese community celebrates as the Lunar New Year. That is actually starting today, and tomorrow is big fireworks night and what have you, and we are going into the year of the pig. And the year that's just been passed has been quite a tough year and quite a hard year on many, many levels. But in the year of the pig, I have been reassured and promised that we are going to have fantastic luck, the way that the Chinese speak about luck, with a capital L, and it's a very, very real concept in our Chinese community's culture. And in fact, I have been promised continuous luck for 2 years now on a personal and business level. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. That'll be absolutely fantastic. But because we are multicultural, we also go out of our way to kind of share in the different worlds that our members live in. So, for instance, in the UK offices here today, we have the Chinese lanterns flying, and we kind of have little. I love those little top right-hand side paper cutout pig things in pink paper. Fantastic. And of course the flying Chinese dragon is especially impressive. We only have, I think, like 1 or maybe 2 Chinese members of staff in the UK office, and it's just nice that the company cares enough about the multicultural part of our business, and that is one of our core values, that diversity is empowering, and that for me is something I'm incredibly proud of, that we kind of are in an embracive culture in Leo, and celebrate people from all over the world. Now, we've got a fairly big announcement to make here that's very, very close to my heart. We're going to talk about some events. We're going to talk about momentum. There's some announcements there as well. We got the executive trip in Cambodia, of course, in the news, and Leo Coin 3. And to that end, we have actually Mihir Magudia on the call as well. Without further ado, let me just share with you something that I think is big. You know, I've been talking about this this project that we've done in Nepal, in Hilli, or I'm still not quite sure how to pronounce that place, but in the middle of the Himalayan mountain range, our little company, our kind of startup company in many, many ways, we have built a school that really transformed 2 communities. There's some 300, 400 kids there that are getting, for the first time in their families, a formal education in a proper classroom setting. And this, Mihir traveled there, and he might reference that later on. But there's something about this that is so inspiring, because that really makes a difference. And in terms of having been in direct selling since 1989, I've seen many offerings, and I've seen many competitors' companies, and I've seen product launches and things. And there's something about that they reach for this thing that's going to change the world and it's going to be fantastic and it's a revolution, and it always turns into this exaggeration, hyperbole, if you like, or this sort of thing where they're reaching for sort of something that is huge and is going to change everything, and they do it with lots of fanfares and lots of guns blazing and trumpets and music and thunderous this, that, the other, and it kind of is always about moving a product to an end user. But what I'm talking about here is something I am very passionate about, because this is potentially something new and changing everything. We kind of, these pictures kind of speak for themselves, but we potentially have something here in the field of social entrepreneurship, using direct selling methodologies and putting together fundraising together with doing good work, where we could change everything. Now, if you look at these kids here on their thing, if they got a formal education where before they weren't getting a formal education, that would change everything for them as well. What is the value of a community now having formal education for the first time? Well, I'm going to show you a few slides as we go forward here that will give you a sense of how big this is. Because a brain once expanded never goes back to its original dimension. In other words, when you teach one of these kids how to read and write, they'll never unlearn that. They will know that forever. You can't have a functioning democracy without literacy. You can't have entrepreneurship without literacy. You can't have so many things that we take for granted in the West without changing lives at that baseline level in a community, in a society, without that. And in some of our markets that are very, very powerful and very, very much engaged with us, they have literacy problems that are very, very high. As much as sort of 30, 40, 50% of kids can't read or write. And I think as an organization dedicated to entrepreneurship and education and training, we should do something about that. And so this is what I want to position to you now, that we can transform lives anywhere in the world. Diversity is empowering, and if we can empower the diverse ethnicities in our business, if we can make good work happen in Africa, in Asia, in China, in the Asia Pacific, in South America, anywhere in the world, if we can do that, we can do good work and we can actually make a fundamental difference. Now, if you want to raise a nation, you have to raise the education levels. There is no greater investment that you can make. There's been so many studies made of how countries that abandon their investment in foolish things like war machines and military complexes, how they educate them, their citizens, and how they invest that money into education, they fare so much better over a 10, 20, 30-year period than any other change makes not a scrap bit of difference compared to that one thing. And we can't obviously pretend that we are an organization that can do that for the world, but what we can do is we can make a phenomenal difference to the people that we touch with this program that I'm going to share with you here today. Because I think Mihir was the one who said it when he came back from the school in Nepal, that who knows what just one of these kids will do with the education that they're now getting because of the small thing that we did there, which was to build a school and a place of learning. If you think about that for just a moment, the children learn how to read and write. They grow up, they get access to greater education. They get a better life and a better future. They have a family. They pass on that to their children. And suddenly you've created a generational shift. You've created a quantum shift in the life of a community, in the life of a family, in a community, in a nation. There's something very, very powerful about that. Through lighting one child's mind up, you can affect so many more people in the future. So I'm very, very excited about the Leo Charity and the work that we're doing here and what we're talking about here now. And not least because I've been talking about this for the last couple of months, really. You've heard me make reference to this. You've heard me make reference to social entrepreneurship. You've heard me make reference to schools. You've heard me be very, very proud of what we've done in Nepal. And I had a massive, massive kind of positive sign when one of our leaders presented to me this project that I'm sharing with you now in the next three or four slides. Because when we're in direct selling, we create a culture, we create an organization, we create values. And of course, a lot of our people are very excited about entrepreneurship. They're very excited about digital currencies. They're very excited about education. They're very excited about making money. And in direct selling, one of the great blessings of this industry is that we can change the lives of people. And one of the great curses of our industry is that for many, many companies, it becomes only about making money. And that's not what this is. This is about changing the lives of people. So when I've been presenting this notion of social entrepreneurship, this charity-based program, it kind of didn't exactly. Everyone nods and everyone agrees and everyone gets quite excited by how worthy it is. But can we talk more about LeoCoin 3? Oh, can we talk more about the compensation plan? Can we talk more about this? And I was thinking, this is kind of not landing. This is kind of not hitting that spot. But then this leader, Liaquat Margray, sent me this presentation. And this presentation is about the earthquake that hit the Kashmir region in 2005. And it didn't just hit that region. This is also, it hit Nepal and it hit this entire sort of continent, if you like, and fairly, I mean, not the entire continent, obviously, but it was massive and terrifying. And when you look at some of the images here, just understand what this is about. So this was presented to me by Liaquat Margray, and he suddenly got it. Suddenly the penny dropped, and he suddenly realized the work and the good work that we can do. So in the region that we're talking about here in Kashmir, 75,000 people were killed so quickly. So from one state to the next state, one event happens, one devastating earthquake happens, 75,000 people are killed. It's almost impossible to understand. It's no secret that Liaquat Margray himself is from this area, and he shared with me. I asked him. I said, Liaquat, did this affect you and your family as well? And he said, 22 people in my family died. And so when you think that through, you think the devastating effect that this has on a community. But it doesn't finish there. 600,000 homes were destroyed. And that in itself is just almost incomprehensible. Now, I'm talking about a very, very particular natural disaster. We have hurricanes, we have earthquakes, we have tsunamis, we have man-made disasters. There is places where this story echoes and resonates all over the world. And if 600,000 homes were destroyed, the other thing that is absolutely extraordinary is something on the order of 6,000 schools were destroyed, because 7,500 public buildings were destroyed, and just under half of those were schools. And this was in 2005, so you think that's a long time ago. It's obviously all rebuilt now. This is what Abaspur High School looks like in a photo taken literally 2 weeks ago. This is where they're getting an education now in the Kashmiri region. And this is repeated over and over and over and over again. This is one particular example. But the kids 2 weeks ago were sitting outside, and this is where their education happens. Now, there's no fault, there's no blame, there's no political agenda here. But we can do something here, because to rebuild a decent school for these people is not something that costs millions and millions and millions. This is a project that we can do through our business, such as it is. If we actually dedicate and focus on it, we can change everything. These are actual kids that we can reach and change their lives forever by providing for them an infrastructure and a place where they can expand their brains and join the 21st century. Now, the idea is not that we're running education. The idea is not that we are trying to pretend that we're educationalists. We're not. We are fundraisers. What we can do better than anything in direct selling is we can sell to the hearts and the minds of the people and get them to understand. So what we have here today that's going live now, and we're already starting to see sales of these, is that we're launching a brand new project where instead, or as well as, you can put this alongside your business. You don't have to change anything, because if you're passionate about e-learning, if you're passionate about education, if you love our live seminar programs, absolutely fine. The fact that we're launching a new product called the Children Educational Packs under the banner of Leo Charity doesn't mean that we take anything away. We're adding something to our business, which is, instead of making money on direct selling and earning a direct selling commission, you could actually become a fundraiser. Now, if you look in the West, and I'm sure this is true in your country as well, you have people raising money for charity. If you go down the high street in the UK, here in the UK, then you see people shaking the tins and raising money. What's not talked about so much is obviously a fundraising organization has to make money the same way that we have to make money. In order for you to have an opportunity, you have to have a company that has a positive cash flow that can pay the salaries, can pay the staff, can reinvest into the business. And it's the same for the Red Cross. It's the same for Save the Children. It's the same for any charity. They have to make enough of a business model, and they have to make that business model work so that they can pay their costs and their overheads. That means that fundraisers also have to make some money that they can put into their pocket. Now, this is very, very clean according to any spiritual principles, that if you do good work, you raise money, you help people, you can also earn a small commission on that. Now, you don't have to. If you want to give the commissions that you earn on the charity packs that I'm going to talk about in a moment, you can certainly give that to the project as well. There's no compulsion that you have to earn money. But if you go out and represent this and present this to people, then we will obviously have some e-learning products in there, and we're going to talk about social entrepreneurship, and we're going to expand and develop that range of products. But this is something that then gives value to the donor in terms of the education and training that will be provided for them. But it will also, if you are on a small level doing this, you can be a fundraiser. And if you sit down with a person and you present this to them and they donate something to one of the wonderful causes that we'll be working with, and you have the cost of the coffee, then you can pay for that coffee through the commissions that you might earn. You can put petrol in your car. But if you build an international and global fundraising organization, if you take any one of our big leaders, say, I'm sure that they are more generous than you can imagine, and they would actually refuse to earn money from this. But if they wanted to do some good work, if they want to do a project, if they want to do some fly-ins, they can have a commission-based structure that supports them in doing that. So this product packet has BP and RP. That has a price. It's £150. The BP and RP is 80. So that's over half of the price is commissionable volume, and that means with our compensation plan, the business model is pretty much that we will pay 1/3 to the charity, 1/3 to the fundraising, 1/3 to the company, and therefore 2/3 are fundamentally going into the fundraising and the charity project. Now, we will do this transparently. We will do this with full integrity, because we can't mess with something that is holy. There's something about this that is at a high spiritual level, if you like. We're not messing about with these children and these communities. We're not messing about with our responsibility. If you consider that a lot of our members are Muslims, and one of the 4 pillars of Islamic faith is charity, this is not something that we will do in any way except to be totally halal, and make sure that this is done in a transparent and clean and integrity way. But what is cool about this is that if you think this through and imagine what we can do with this, because we can put together, and we've raised funds for one school. Through the power of duplication and through the power of our global network that's building every day, and I'll show you more about that in a moment, throughout the power of our network that's building every day, we can build not just one school, we can build 5 schools, we can build 10 schools. We can build 100 schools, because the power of the duplication is why all of us are so excited by our industry, that we can reach so many people. And we will do projects then in Africa. We will do projects in the Middle East. We will do projects anywhere in the world where our members burn for a cause. Now, if you have something that you're passionate about, if you have something that you believe would make something that makes a difference to children, because school and education, that's my hot button. But I'm also having meetings with people that represent charities that work in under the banner of handicapped children, for instance. There might be sort of different causes that link to what we do in terms of entrepreneurship. Whatever you burn for, present it to us, present it to me, and I will look at it, because we can get a project up and running here in about 5 minutes in your country. It's not difficult to do, to be a fundraiser. If we have a charity to work with, fine, we'll work with a charity. But we've done playgrounds in African countries. We've donated blankets to Syrian refugees. We have helped local football teams in the UK. We have raised money for schools and outdoor activities in the north of England. We have already done stuff, and people need, or these causes need money. Obviously, as we go forward, Leo Charity will become a fully registered and compliant charity if it's doing its own projects. But what we will do is just make sure that the money goes to where the money needs to go. We will work with established charities, we will donate to them, and we will display these on websites so that you can choose what you want to make a donation to, so that your prospect can choose what they make a donation to. Now, here's the cool thing. You might present direct selling to people and they might be quite skeptical. You might present aspects of our business like Leo Coin and people might be quite skeptical. But if you start to present some of the good work that we're doing and some of the evidence that we'll produce to you in terms of the media, in terms of the videos, in terms of everything, then you will hardly walk away from a single appointment without getting someone engaging with you. So if you think about the spread of our business now, here is an event in Karachi. Almost 2,000 people came together for a live seminar with Dr. Moyes. This is the training and the seminars organized by our sales agency in Karachi, but this is absolutely a commitment to learning education. And these are people that are passionate about expanding their brains. Why wouldn't they want to support kids' brains being expanded? Our Germany team came for 4 days to the UK and attended our Houses of Parliament event. And again, the multicultural nature of our business comes through in all of these pictures. And the credibility of Leo as an organization can only kind of help. In Cape Town, I just got some pictures. I think this is what I got today from Rachel in the Philippines. Rachel in the Philippines is one of our ambassadors in the business. She's just one of the most positive, inspiring people that I know, and she's the original person that walks into the room and the light in that room goes up a little bit. She has recruited someone in South Africa who's now filling up rooms with people looking at Leo and our opportunity and our concept. And it's just fantastic to see. And I'm a little bit embarrassed because I don't know who these people are, but if you're on this webinar, you are welcome to Leo and welcome to be part of our business. And these pictures just tell the whole story. Now we can do projects there for the charity and we can connect them to our global business opportunity. Cameroon is on fire. If you look here, I don't even know how many people are in here, but that must be I guess that's built around our wonderful leader, whose name that escaped me 2 weeks ago, Mr. Polaris. I hope it is, and I haven't put my foot in it, but fine. We have, again, leaders meetings happening in different places. Here is at Karachi. We have Amir Balas in East London. We have stuff going on in India now, and this is John Abraham, who is doing stuff in India and building there. We have an old established business that's not done very much in India, but it's starting to move. The engine is starting to turn. And again, just sharing this with you to give you an idea of the multicultural nature of our business. So this is going to be launched just like this. I'm telling you about it. It's available for sale now. We will not launch something like this with a big false fanfare. We're just launching it, and like a grassroots activity, it just gathers its own momentum and starts to build. But I have a sense that I really have changed everything with this program, because it takes our Leo business into a new level, and it will support everything that we are doing. Now, the event here that I'm talking about on the 2nd of March, just a few short weeks away, and we've only talked about this for the last 2 or 3 weeks, has gone from a 1,000 people event that is already totally sold out. And Andy Hansen asked me to pass on to you that we're expanding the venue and the amount of people that we can meet to, I think he said 2,000 people. And this is from an absolute standing start. And Andy Hansen and Mihir Magudia, who you'll hear later on in this call, are coming there for the very first time that a corporate representative has been to South Africa. And if you see the pictures of what's going on there, it is just absolutely unbelievable to sort of see the power and the energy of these people. And all power to the English uplines there. There's Dr. Javid, and there's Amir Balas, and there's Charlie and Ash. And others that, forgive me if I don't mention you by name, but you've done a brilliant job, again, being ambassadors for the Leo business to make that happen, just like that. And of course, Rachel is now building a line there as well. So just brilliant to sort of see the Leo business spreading its wings. And here, where the picture's gone in the wrong order here. This is what Rachel sent to me. And again, I think this was the first time that this meeting was happening in this particular area. And again, we're catching up with the incredible things that are happening there. But this has happened in just a few short weeks. So all power to the leaders, who I still don't know who you are, but I will be, because your shadow travels before you. You're casting a very, very big shadow across the Leo world at the moment. So much so that we've decided to extend the qualification for Momentum 2019. As you know, at the end of January, the last day of January was supposedly the last day for this, but people have begged us, they've pleaded with us, they've been very, very gracious, but they've said, could we please have a bit more time? So we're launching the extension here today, right here now, till the end of February, and that's it. It will not be extended after that, but the qualification for the Momentum Tour qualification, the Momentum Conference qualifications, is now the 28th of February. So for those of you who missed it, or those of you who joined us last week and wish that you had this to promote with, you now do. And it is a powerful thing. And again, we have to scale up the numbers that we can do. But it could get cut at any time if you go too crazy with it, because there's obviously only so many venues that can deal with the sort of numbers that we're sort of starting to see come through now. So we reserve the right to give you as much notice as we can, but we might have to cut this off at short notice. So what we always teach people who want to be entrepreneurs, the early bird gets the worm. So if you've got people who are on the cusp of qualifying, get them qualified now. So there you have it. The executive trip in Cambodia. Again, you have until the end of March to qualify for that. And I would recommend that you do, because it's going to be epic. Again, I think I'm going to ask Mihir to come on, because Mihir is our Director of External Affairs, and he deals with the fantastic engagement that we have with the public, if you like, through media, through PR, through our public engagement. Leo has a good reputation in the world, and so this is some stuff that we'd like to share with you as well, just to let you know that good things are happening in the sphere of media. Mihir, are you there?
Yes, Dan. Thanks very much, Dan. I'm delighted to be here today. So our PR footprint sort of grows and grows and grows. I mean, because it sort of becomes a virtuous circle where we do good things, we get coverage for it, we do things in Parliament, we work with governments, we work with journalists, and they talk to us more and more and more. And so essentially we have this snowball effect where it just gets better and better and better for us, and more people know about us and think better and better things. So this particular piece was in Home Business magazine, and we sort of placed this and worked with them on this because what we're finding is that we're getting lots and lots of new members right now are coming across the Leo business. Lots and lots of people who've never done direct selling before are turning towards us, and we want to make sure that we're reaching that audience as well. We want to make sure that those new people who perhaps haven't done 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 companies, I can see some names here that have before, those first timers at direct selling, those first timers at network marketing, feel comfortable joining Leo as well, because with the best will in the world, that's where the new markets are, that's where our new members are. We can only go so far just by staying in the direct selling space. It's about reaching out to new people who've never done this before, new people who are coming across this opportunity for the first time, and those are the people who may be able to grow your business in a ways that you've never ever experienced before. So with Home Business magazine, what we are trying to do is educate and encourage people who perhaps were unsure about how to get started, who didn't quite know how they'd managed to turn their 9-to-5 day job into a massive global business of the kind that we can offer, of the opportunity that we can present. So that's what this article is about, Dan, and we're very, very pleased with the way it's worked, because it's about helping those new people come to our industry and ultimately end up with Leo, we hope. And what we see here is a article from a Turkish publication, Cointurk. Now, Turkey is a massive market, very excited about digital currency, very excited about direct selling. We have our wonderful country manager, area manager there, Melek. We have a great market there that's sort of had some troubles, but has overcome those challenges and has really started to build up now. I'm very, very pleased with how our Turkish business has been operating. So placing articles, working with journalists in specific countries is also something that we do. And particularly in Turkey, having an independent third-party magazine talk about Leo Coin is a fantastic endorsement of what it is we're doing. And certainly for our Turkish members, this should be of use when they're growing their business. But I think our members all around the world can use it to demonstrate that Leo and Leo Coin are global concerns, things that people all around the world are excited about, and that these independent expert publications are excited about what we're doing and want to write about us as well.
No, very good, and for what it's worth as well, I have to give you a lot of recognition, Mihir, because we have such good PR and such good public awareness of what we're doing. Now, if any of you are interested in your country, or if you have connections into media and what have you, and you have an idea for where we could get some PR, or you have a journalist that wants to write about us, then Mihir Magudia is the person to contact through whatever channels you have. But we're very interested in kind of getting hold of that and kind of syndicating stuff, and again beat the drum about what we're doing. Like we've always said, the value of Leo Coin comes from the community. We don't have a magic button in the back office where we can just increase the price, and we don't have a magic button in the office where we can do a mysterious split or whatever it is that people have done in their previous lives and what have you. Now, this is a real thing listed on external exchanges, and the only way that builds up is through building the community, by building the economy, by building the uses, by building the technology. Fine, technology is one thing, it's the community that matters, and this is the secret weapon that we believe in terms of Leo. And just like Mihir says, it's not just networkers selling to networkers. We have to get into the arts and the uncles. We have to get into the normal people, quote unquote, whatever that means. The more I meet people, the more I realize that there are no normal people out there, but we have to get into people who've never been in this industry before. We have to get them to become stakeholders in LeoCoin. Some of the things that are on the drawing board now for the merchant program will make your head spin. So it's kind of exciting times. But LeoCoin 3, the development work is going on. There's teams of people working on this, and we've had certainly some slippage on time, as if the first IT project in the history of the world has had some slippage. Well, we've had some slippage. It is what it is. But me here, you're also involved in this in terms of being the executive officer for LeoCoin Foundation and the Digital Coin Foundation. So what's the update here, mate?
Yeah. So obviously the main theme of the webinar this week would absolutely be about the children's education packs and the projects we want to do around the world to, well, change it, really. But just to update you this week on LeoCoin 3 without overwhelming with new information, the main point I wanted to get across today was about the process you're going to need to go through to upgrade your LeoCoins from where they are now to the Ethereum token. So we're working on the website now, and actually if we go to the next one, I think. Thank you, Dan. Oh, Jeff. Okay. Yeah. So essentially, we're building the website that helps you do what's called a coin swap. So what this means is you'll essentially take your old LeoCoins, the current LeoCoins that you hold in your desktop wallet, in your mobile wallet, wherever they are. You'll take those, you'll send them to an address, and then in your new wallets, you will get these new LeoCoins back. And all the FAQs will be up there to guide you through the process. There'll be a document that Marios is putting together to give you a step-by-step guide on exactly what it is you need to do. But this shift to Ethereum is obviously a shift to a new blockchain. So it won't just be that your current wallet gets an update or your current wallet gets an upgrade. This is an entirely new coin, an entirely new shift to an entirely new technology. And that's why we're able to get all these advantages. That's why we're able to do smart contracts. That's why we're able to do KYC on the blockchain. That's why we're going to move to one of the best technologies out there. So it's very, very exciting stuff. If you hold your LeoCoin entirely on the Leo member back office, then you don't need to do very much at all. When you log into the internal platform, you'll get a pop-up that says, do you want to switch to the LeoCoin 3? You click OK, and then it'll happen for you. That's no problem. If you keep your coins on an external exchange, then we're working very closely with exchanges, and with them also it will be fine. They will upgrade your coins for you. However, if you hold your coins yourself on your own desktop, on your own wallet, you have to go through this process. You have to go to this website, which we'll release in due course. You have to send your LeoCoins, and you enter your Ethereum address there at the top, and you get LeoCoins back. It's very, very straightforward once you've done it. And obviously, you can do it as many times as you want. You can test it out with 10, 100, 1,000 coins to start with, see how you get on, and then after that, you can send your big bunch of coins and get them back. And really, this is about shifting us all to this new technology, which has so many benefits that I've talked about a huge amount. But just to recap, it's going to be faster, it's going to be more efficient, it's going to be much, much easier for everyone to use. And as Dan talked about earlier, or rather mentioned earlier, the way LeoCoin succeeds is if the community succeeds. When you build the community of Leo, you're also building the community of LeoCoin, obviously, and that is helping the price, that's helping the market, that's helping all people around the world benefit from participating with LeoCoin and benefit from getting involved in digital currency. I'll stop
Very
there.
good. Thank you for that, Mihir. That's absolutely excellent. So we're obviously sort of at the very, very final stages of going live with these things and new wallets and the swap addresses and the swap websites. So the time is almost here. Now, I'm quite pleased that we've had some delays because our Chinese members have gone into Chinese New Year, and they'll be kind of out of the loop now for sort of 2 weeks. So we don't want to do anything with probably the largest community that we have within Leo and Leo Coin, not at the forefront. So I don't think that we're going to be daring, or we would be that discourteous to a huge member base of ours to do it during their most important holiday of the year. So I guess we're looking at a couple of weeks, but we don't want to be drawn on the dates any longer because of some challenges with smart contracts and some vulnerabilities that kind of seem to have come through on Ethereum. We want to just make sure that everything is done correctly. And what we've certainly learned over the last 3 months is that if you don't do rock solid development, you end up launching something that has vulnerabilities, and we don't want that. We want to have something that has no issues. We did an absolutely beautiful upgrade last time when we went from LeoCoin X to LeoCoin Y, and everything just worked and was fantastic. We want to have that same experience here now. So it takes as long as it takes, but we're talking about a few short weeks now until we actually get going. Now, what is good about that is that it gives you more of an opportunity to sort of carry on with us and have the same mechanisms that you know and love. But we have had an incentive running where we dropped the platinum qualification down to 2,000 in your weaker leg, overall of 4,000. And that was very, very strong and very, very positive, because people use that to qualify for different things, and all power to you. But we're doing some analysis and doing some numbers on it. The beauty, the joy cannot last forever. So we're going to go back to where the platinum incentive needs to be, which is at 4,000, which is what the 4,000 platinum has always been at that level for your weaker leg volume. But we've had a short period now when it's been lower than that. On the 13th of February, and that's as much notice as we can give you, on that Wednesday, it'll go back to its normal level. So that gives you an opportunity to push that now. We're not sort of pulling the rug out from under your feet and saying that this is happening tomorrow, but we're saying it's not going to be happening in 2 years' time either. It's happening on the 13th of February. Now, for those of you who are close to qualify for something, then just you go for it and make that happen. For those that need a deadline to drive towards, this is your deadline. But from the 13th of February, the world is going back to what it normally is. So that is what it is. The other thing is that we have rank award incentives going on at silver, gold, and bronze. In fact, bronze, silver, gold. These are incredibly generous at the moment, and again, all power to you for taking advantage of them. They won't last forever either. Now, this is something that we're a little bit more cagey with, because we don't want to be irresponsible with how we market this, but it won't last forever. And the people who have long-serving time with Leo, they know that when we give you these warnings, then that day comes. So this is kind of just about being fair and being transparent and saying that this won't last forever, but can't, for commercial reasons, give you the actual date when it happens, but it could be soon. So, final conclusion to today's webinar. If you look at what's happening in direct selling, we have companies that are selling artificially inflated priced products. We have scams and money games running rife, pretending to be direct selling opportunities where they are just an opportunity to move money from your wallet to someone else's wallet. We have people that have been exposed to all of these things, and if you look at the compensation plan of some of the largest companies in direct selling, they are not as generous in reality as they appear to be when they're marketing it to you, which means that the direct selling industry is a wonderful industry, and it can change people's lives, but it's also a bit tarnished by some factors that are unfortunate, and so people are quite skeptical, and so they should be. People should be skeptical. There's corruption and difficulties in every industry, from the oil industry to the building industry to the marketing industry. It's hard to find honest companies. What we have here is an opportunity with the child education packs to go to a higher ground, because we will be totally transparent. We will demonstrate exactly how the money goes to better people's and communities' lives and futures. This is something that I think can change everything. The way that we do that is that the company takes less benefit, not more, that the field has compensation, but not as much as maybe on some other product packages. Now we're not discontinuing anything. We're just carrying on with our business at full speed ahead, with every angle that we can play, because we're marketeers and salespeople. Of course, we will do everything we can to give you an attractive opportunity to sell. But you also have something here where you can market to people and be proud of what we're doing. When me here was in the Himalayas and saw the school that we all built together for these children, and the 1-year funding that school got to manage its overheads and its salaries and its teachers' contributions, he was proud to the point he said, "I'll sleep well tonight because this is good work that we've done." If we build 10, 100, 1,000 schools for a starting point, what moral high ground will we be able to take humbly with the good work that we're doing? By putting together a fundraiser together with a person who wants to invest, as it were, in the future of the children in his country, we can get engagement in a way that another charity can't get. You could take people and organize tours to a place that you want to inspire people about. You get that local engagement from a community and a network that's passionate about education, that's passionate about changing the lives of these people, of these kids. So there's something about the marriage of this together with direct selling that is extraordinary. So this is kind of the big one for me, the idea that we can change everything with this project. For me, is just something that I don't quite know how to describe it. It's just very, very strong. So there will also be digital aspects, digital currency aspects to this. We will be able to use the blockchain for this, but that's a little bit further down the road. Now, we haven't talked at all on this webinar about the other big thing that's coming, which is our rekindled purpose venture back into property and property development. Again, that will be with your deeds on the blockchain. Everything that we do is part of 2019, and the blockchain is here to stay. We're a modern business living in the modern world. We're not sort of direct selling version 1.0 from the 1960s. We're direct selling in 2019. I'm very, very proud of the innovation and the cutting of new ground that we do. Innovation and creativity is in the DNA of Leo, by God's blessing, or whatever you want to call it. But we've been blessed and we've been fortunate, and that's why we're still here after 7 years. We will continually reinvent ourselves. We will never get stuck in one monolithic business model. We will constantly be trying and doing new things. But what you have to focus on is, what's the next deadline? What's the next thing that I do? And for you, that's the momentum incentive. For you, that's the new platinum, the change of that. Get focused on that. Qualify for the executive trip, but make sure you don't miss out on this platinum thing from 4,000, from 2,000 to 4,000. It's a big change, and you can help get people qualifying for less than it'll cost them, as it were, on the 14th of February. So this is Dan Anderson saying thank you very much for being on this historic webinar. And next week's webinar will be just as historic as we delve into the details around LeoCoin 3, the details of the new charity packs, and start talking to you about some of the PDPs, the product development packs that have just pre-launched in some markets. So exciting time to be part of Leo, exciting time to be leading Leo. We have a business that has a concept that I'm very, very proud of. So I'd like to say thank you very much for being part of it, and let's see what we can all do together. So this is Dan Anderson saying over and out.